Right, we are live for our Tuesday night GLP-1 roundtable conversation. This has been such a fun adventure so far. Tonight, I've got a handful of amazing guests. I'm still on the hook, hoping I've got one more person who is going to join us. And hopefully, if you're here or even on the replay, we encourage you to get in the comments with your questions, with your conversation, and even potentially join us on one of these calls. So it's real life. If you haven't heard of GLP-1 weight loss medications or peptides, you are absolutely hiding under a rock. We want to say first and foremost that we're not here to give anybody medical advice. We are here simply in a conversational setting. We're going to tell our stories, maybe few stories from friends, from family. You might hear people share what they have been diagnosed with medically and how GLP-1s and other peptides as well are helping them. So, to start out the conversation, I'm going to bring up one of our favorite providers. Come on up, Brenda, and get us started out.
All right. Yay. So, good evening, everyone. I really want to thank you all for just taking the time out of your busy schedules to jump on and have an open and authentic conversation about peptides. And again, I want to make sure you also know that we are not providing medical advice tonight. This is just for information and education only. And also, before I go any further, I just really want to start with a very simple question that many people have when they first hear about peptides. What exactly is a peptide? Well, peptides are short chains of amino acids, the same building blocks that make up proteins in our bodies. But instead of forming large structures, peptides act more like biological messengers. They tell cells what to do, they help regulate things like metabolism, inflammation, tissue repair, hormone signaling, sleep cycles, sexual functioning, and immune functioning, to mention a few. Your body already produces thousands of peptides naturally. They are part of the communication system that allows your cells to coordinate and function properly. Over time, because of aging, stress, inflammation, illness, or environmental factors, those signaling pathways just become less efficient. That's where therapeutic peptides come in. They help restore or enhance communication within the body's existing systems. Peptides are not magic. They are messengers. They don't override biology, they optimize signaling within biology. And when signaling improves, guess what? Functioning improves. As we continue tonight, I just really encourage you to stay curious and active in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking, what questions or comments or experiences you've had. We may or may not be able to see your comment live. If we don't see it live and comment on it, we will definitely get to it after we're done. But again, this isn't about quick fixes. It isn't about hype. This is about education, empowerment, and offering tools that help people feel better in their own bodies. For those of you I haven't met yet, I'm a pediatric neuropsychologist. I'm 61. I live with MS. And about 9 years ago, I made a decision to fully own my health. At that time, I was 80 pounds heavier. I was exhausted. I was pouring into my patients and families every day. But physically, I just really didn't feel aligned with the life I wanted to live. So I began a health journey. I lost those 80 pounds and I've kept it off. For the past 6 years, I've trained for triathlons, endurance bike races, and just signed up to complete a half marathon in all 50 states. So, not because I'm trying to prove anything, but because movement makes me feel strong, capable, and alive, and my body can actually do these things now. But even with the discipline, even with the training, even with my nutrition really dialed in, I still had limits with my energy, recovery, sleep, cognition, muscle growth. And as someone with MS, those things matter deeply. And I'll be honest, if you look back on my social media, you will see I was a very big skeptic about one of the peptides, the GLPs, for a very long time. I thought they were an easy button, a shortcut, a crutch, but I'm also a research geek. So instead of staying skeptical, I dove into the literature, I studied the mechanisms, and I looked at inflammation pathways, neuroprotection, mitochondrial function, and metabolic flexibility. And what I discovered completely shifted my perspective. These peptides aren't just about weight loss. They impact brain health, inflammation, energy regulation, recovery, to mention just a few. They don't replace the lifestyle enhancements that we're trying to make in every day, but they enhance those lifestyles that we are trying to implement. So about 7, 8 months ago, I started microdosing with a GLP GIP. I've added in a little NAD plus and some tesamorelin and ipamorelin. I was recently injured a couple weeks before when I was skiing, a couple weeks before a big bike race down in Phoenix. So I added in a little bit of BP's C157, TB500. You're going to hear about several of these peptides tonight and for healing. And miraculously, I was healed in time for my bike race. It went very, very well. So I was very pleased about that. You're going to hear about a lot of different peptides tonight. The changes for me have been dramatic. My sleep has improved. My cognition is sharpened. My mood has stabilized. My workouts have become stronger. My recovery has accelerated. And my energy has become steady instead of unpredictable. And for someone living with MS, that is not small. That is completely transformative. But where my heart really comes in, for my entire career, my heart has been with busy parents, especially parents of children with special needs. I sit with families every day who are exhausted, parents who are juggling therapies, IEP meetings, medical appointments, work, and home, parents who put themselves last, parents who are running on fumes, and honestly, busy parents in general are in the same boat. They're depleted, inflamed, sleep deprived, and overwhelmed. And nobody needs a shortcut anymore. We all need support. So, what excites me about peptides is that they can provide that foundational physiological support, better energy regulation, better sleep architecture, improved recovery, so people can actually implement lifestyle changes. Because even if you go on a GLP or any of the other peptides you're going to hear about tonight, you still have to build muscle, you still have to move, you still have to nourish your body appropriately, and you still have to prioritize sleep. Peptides will amplify your effort, not replace it. Now, traditional medicine absolutely has its place. We need it for emergencies, acute care, life saving interventions. But I truly, truly, truly believe peptides are part of the future of proactive, root cause regenerative health, not just managing our symptoms any longer, people. Supporting signaling pathways, optimizing cellular communication, enhancing resilience, and promoting longevity. Again, it's not about quick fixes or hype. It's education, empowerment, and offering tools to help us just feel better in our own body. So at 61, with MS, training for triathlons, endurance races, I don't say this to impress you. I say because I want you, everyone out there, every overwhelmed parent, every exhausted professional, every person who feels like they're running on empty, to know feeling better is absolutely possible. And when we feel better, we show up better for our families, for our work, and for our purpose. And I'm just really grateful to be here. So let's stay curious. Let us know what your thoughts are. No question is a dumb question. We may not know the answer to all of your questions, but if we don't know it, we will find it out. We will research that topic and address it in next week's right here as well. What excites me most isn't just about what these tools can do for us individually. It's what happens when healthy, clear-minded, energized people begin serving others. We can change families, we change communities, we change the trajectory of aging. Longevity isn't about adding years to life. It's about adding life to years. And with that, I'm going to turn it over because these other women have some amazing stories to talk about as well. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Tanya.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I am so glad that you kept an open mind. Oh, can you imagine what life would have been like if you wouldn't have taken that second glance or done that extra research and opened your mind? I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of anybody out there who's been like, you're going to hear all of us on here tonight say we were skeptical. We
Mhm.
were hesitant. We heard about the stories, and then come to find out it was about mismanagement. And,
Mhm.
it's easy to villainize one thing and not look at the whole picture. It takes a smart person, it takes a big person, and even to publicly humble yourself and say, Dude, I was wrong.
I
Like,
really was, and I'm
well,
so grateful, Tanya, because with my last injury, right before I went down to Phoenix for a 63-mile bike race, I would not have been able to do that if I wouldn't have been using that particular peptide to help my body heal. I just know I wouldn't have. The doctor was amazed
amen.
on how quickly.
Amen.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah.
So Brenda, we are going to come back to you.
Yes.
We're gonna hear from Corey next, and then we'll give her a few minutes by herself here, and then I'm gonna see how many people we can comfortably get on this screen. This is amazing. Susan showed up. I see that you're here, Susan, so that's awesome. All right, here comes Corey. Now, what I love about Corey's story, a lot of us here are medical, but you don't have to be. Corey is a hairstylist on the go. I love your story. So tell us a little bit about your health journey and then just a micro bit about your business journey. Oh, now we lost Corey, so we'll give her a second. StreamYard's been super fussy tonight. So we're going to fast forward and we will bring up Dr. Keller. Oh, no, wait. Corey's back. Corey's back. Okay. All right.
I'm having I'm having the hardest time. Is it good now?
You're good. Don't touch
Okay.
anything.
I
Just
know.
talk.
I kept like losing and I couldn't hear you.
and
Okay,
you're
so I'm good to
and I
go.
was gonna mention your TikTok channel, so make sure you tell everybody where you'd like to find you. She's got the cutest, funnest TikTok channel in her little boutique, and now she's throwing in peptides to the mix. Take it away,
Yes.
Corey.
Thank you so much. Yes, I do have a TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I got into the network marketing, of course. Started with makeup, that was my jam. But when I believe in a product, I follow this product. And I was introduced to LEMD through Jen, and I'm so very thankful. So I was skeptical, of course, like everybody else. I didn't have a ton of weight to lose. However, I was super uncomfortable. So she introduced me. I did the microdose, and it was amazing. I did have great results. I did lose 30 pounds. I started in August, lost 30 pounds up until January, and I have maintained. However, I do want to say, like, I did exercise, I did watch what I ate and all of that fun stuff, but I was in a situation where no matter how much I worked out or what I watched, what I ate, nothing was changing. I turned 40 last year. I got married, I remarried. I had my first daughter graduating high school. There was a lot of things, and all the pressure was on, and I tried, and nothing helped. And then Jen showed me about LEMD, and then like I said, got on the microdose and had amazing results. It is not an easy fix. Like, I hate when people say that, because there is like, watch what you eat, and that is huge. You need to drink your electrolytes. Your protein is so huge. And I don't know. I don't have a crazy story, but I think I have a similar story to a lot of people around. Um, and if I can just help share that. And what's also really cool, like, I just want to say on a side note, I'm super intimidated as far as the whole selling part goes, but I did join for the discount, as far as like you get paid back your commissions on your own order, which my husband was interested in doing, and I did do that. What is so cool is like, you do not have to answer any of the questions. Like, you just get like your girl Jen or Tanya, or like a LEMD specialist on the phone, and they can help direct for what other people's specific needs are. So basically, that's kind of it. Is that good?
That was excellent. Here's a couple of things. Look at me. I got these wild hairs.
You're
Here's a
good.
couple of things that I love about what you said. You know, our friend Jen, if you follow us, she's been here a lot. She's got a pretty miraculous health history, and she had miracles because she had big problems.
Mhm.
And I love, like what you said, you don't have to have some crazy story. You're the average hard-working woman who has spent years and years putting everybody else first, from the kids' tennis shoes to, everything. So I love that you took charge and said, I am worth this.
Mhm.
I'm worth it. So I just really encourage women everywhere, to sometimes some of that stuff that everybody else needs can just go on hold, because your health is your wealth.
Mhm.
And we could say, I mean, you got the cute figure, you're nice and tall, and you got
Mhm.
all that going on. We could say there's vanity metrics, but we know that that 30 pounds was taking away years off your life, right?
100%. 100%.
We know that that's true. So going forward, and even that pays it forward to your family, to your friends, to the people who count on you when you're staying healthy and you're staying in the game. So, Corey, thank you so much for shining your light and coming on with us tonight. Next, I'm gonna bring up Dr. Keller. Dr. Keller, let me see. Here we go.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
It's been a minute.
I know. Life's been crazy. Kids,
Yes. I'm so glad you came on. I saw in the
Yeah.
comments you already had somebody from the past reach out and connect with you.
Yeah.
That
managed
is
to get all hooked up.
perfect.
Made it easy. So yeah, so that's awesome. I'm super
Yeah.
excited to get to connect with some folks that I haven't talked to in a while.
Yes. Yeah, so
So
tell us a little bit. We know that you're using some peptides here and there in your practice.
yes.
Why don't you give us a little education on the inflammation side, and why? What are some of the off-label uses that people who maybe don't even have a weight issue are
Yeah. Well,
using?
I can tell you about a few patients to kind of as examples. I actually have my mom on a microdose, and it's not for weight. She didn't need to lose any weight. So she's on the microdose. We started her out at the 25 dose, which is like the standard starting microdose, and it was too much for her. So she's been at like half. We quartered it, and then we worked her up to about a half a dose is really good. And we started her on the glycine version that I think it's so cool. They now put the extra mixes in there, but she started on that with her refill about a month ago. I think it's been now. And I gave her the shot the first day with the glycine. And the next day she's like, what was in that? She's like, I slept. I woke up and I had energy. And
Awesome. That's the one I'm trying next. I love that you're saying
yeah,
that.
it's
I'm
fantastic. She's
excited.
slept better. Her energy's been better, and it's been keeping on. And for Christmas, I got her like the world's worst Christmas present, an exercise program. Like, here, mom, have some exercise. But she's got chronic fatigue, and she's got, pain that moves around her joints, and she's, just wasn't feeling very good. And she wants to hang out with my kids, her grandkids. And so it's been tough. So with that, her inflammation has come down massively. She can move. Her hands and legs and arms don't hurt so much. She's able to exercise, and she's doing muscle stuff every single day, 5 days a week. And she's got a coach for that, that she hired to help her work through that. So she's making huge progress. She helped a friend move for like 3 days, and she still was able to function, which before would have, had her like out for a week. So that's been pretty amazing. And the inflammation, it's just gone down so much. She's like, I'm out of my inflammation herbal capsules. I said, well, okay, but do you actually need them? Well, I'm out of them. Right. But do you need them? I was like, you should stop them for a little bit and just see if you actually need them. And I was like, you could save yourself some money and not buy so many supplements. And I do the injections for her because she can't do them herself. It's hard for her to draw them up and such, but not everybody likes to inject themselves. And then The other newer patient that I've gotten started on it, she's on the weight loss dose, and she just started maybe 2 weeks ago. So I'm not sure how much she's lost, but she has like a crazy case of ADHD, like listens to things at 3 times the normal speed, and just all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, she's running circles around me, and I thought I was busy. And at first she kind of hated it because she couldn't listen to podcasts at 3 times the normal speed anymore. Like she's not eating sugar. She doesn't want sugar. She doesn't want to scroll on her phone. She doesn't want to do all of these things. She's like, I'm not getting my dopamine hits. This stuff doesn't appeal to me anymore. I just don't care. I don't want to do it. And I feel really weird. And a friend of my sister's like, it's normal. It's just, that's what normal people feel like.
Right? That is amazing.
Yeah. To be bouncing around. And that's one of the cool things with this is another patient, she's like, I don't crave food that's bad for me anymore. Like it just totally went away. No craving for sweets, no nothing. And she wasn't even trying that. So I'm really loving the fact that it's making these lifestyle changes possible. Like people that can't exercise now can. You can improve these things. And I don't recommend them to people until I'm like, okay, we got your hormones balanced. We want you doing exercise because you don't want GLP-1 face or Ozempic face, I guess they call it, since we're not doing brand name. But you don't want to lose all that muscle. You don't want this to cause more problems than it's solving. So we have to do some bowel support because it slows down your digestion. So we want to make sure you're eliminating, because if we're lowering inflammation but retaining toxins, we're kind of back things up the wrong direction.
Exactly.
I recommend them for a lot of people. Microdose of this. I'm really excited. I haven't had a chance to even try out a bunch of the new ones. The sleep one sounds really cool. I've got a couple patients I've recommended the PT 141 for some sexual dysfunction. So if the patient starts on those, I should find out in about a month or so when I follow up if that's helping with the ED. So that'll be helpful because hey, quality of life, let's improve it. Whatever way that looks. But the sleep one looks really awesome, and I'm like, maybe I might sign up for that one. Some cognitive support, the mitochondrial support. They're coming out with peptides faster than I can learn about them.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah. So Melody, if I interrupt you, let's for practitioners that might be listening or on the replay, you yourself, you could be prescribing these, but I love that you chose to turn that over to LEMD. Briefly, how did you come about that decision?
Well, it made a lot of sense because that way I don't have to be an expert in everything and figure out how to dose everything. And also I see patients across the country. I have patients in different states. And while I can prescribe for most people in situations, it's just easier to have a doc that's licensed somewhere else to do that. That way it's licensed in their state. There's no gray area that way. It just makes it easier to get people what they need. And now that they don't have to, upload pictures. I had one patient that was really kind of a pain when she had to, upload a selfie of her whole body. She's like, that was tricky. I'm not quite sure.
Yes, the tech is hard.
Easy as possible. And I get to specialize in what I love to do and use this as support. I don't have to do everything.
That is so
kind
smart.
Of a revolutionary concept because
that is wisdom speaking right there. When we finally get to the stage in life where we're not trying to DIY, patch together everything we do, and wisdom says, let me turn this one over to someone else. I love that.
Yeah. And because I'm still, their doctor, they can ask me questions and I can say, oh yeah, let's try this or try that, where, a non-medical person referring should not do that because they're not the licensed provider.
Correct.
But
Yes.
in my case, they're under my care, and I'll still say, well, maybe email your doc there and just get some clarification. But what I would suggest is X, Y, and Z, but check with them and see what they have to say. And then if that contradicts what I have to say, follow what they say, in that
Yes.
case. When
Yes.
we'll work it out. Because I want them to have
Absolutely.
the best possible experience and get better with, whatever peptides, supplements, health routines that they need. But yeah, they're fantastic. They're not a miracle cure, but they sure go a long ways in helping your health and creating miracles, DIY miracles.
Yeah. Well, and I love that for so many people, like you said, a lot of our really worn out, um, overwhelmed people, they finally get to the nerve up to come ask us for help. And then, oh my goodness, what we do is so overwhelming. We're asking so much of them. So I think I love peptides. I love that once a week manageable, like sometimes it's the first open door, just
Yeah.
like you said, so everything can kind of calm down, so they can feel like they regain some control. Because, well, we know when sometimes you got a candida overgrowth, or, it's not just willpower. It's not that people can't just get better because they don't have enough willpower. Sometimes, bringing in a tool like this can get somebody's confidence back
Yeah.
so fast, and get they come in, they're so defeated, they've tried everything, and
Yes.
they just need a boost, they just need some confidence.
Yeah. And this, it's nice to have a tool that'll do a lot for you. And when that starts to work, it just gives you the oomph to take the next step.
Agreed.
Because, like Corey was saying, you can diet and you can exercise, and if your body just can't process it right, I mean, your insulin goes up, your metabolic markers are all wonky. You might not have type 2 diabetes, but you're just sitting around waiting for it to develop, or not, hopefully. But just having something and knowing, okay, this will make me feel better. Now, I tried the microdose myself for a few weeks when I had that horrible rash
Mhm.
that I came with all the stress and stuff, that itchy, horrible lumps that I should remember the name of the thing, but I've put it out of my mind as quickly as possible. That was like, even steroids didn't touch that. I don't know if the GLP-1s helped. I was just using like 5 micrograms or something just to see. But I was doing I'm like, if it could possibly help, give it to me, because I'd wake up itchy. I went to bed itchy. My legs would swell. It was just,
Oh, terrible,
it was the
terrible.
worst. So it may or may not have helped, but I was like, if it's anti-inflammatory, I'll do it. Because, like I said, I was on 60
This
milligrams of
the
steroids for
steroids,
2 days.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I did it 2 days because I couldn't even sleep on the stuff. But it was nice to know there was just one more thing I could add to my rolling list of therapies, and a little bit of
Oh,
peace of mind.
shoot, shoot. Well, Melody, it has been so amazing to connect with you again. If you want to stick around, I'll just here on the backstage, I'm gonna bring Susan up and let her tell a little bit of her story, and then who's ever left, Brenda's still here. Looks like Corey left us, but then I'll bring everybody back up onto the stage after Susan has a minute.
All right, great.
All right, awesome. All right, and here is Susan. It's her big on camera debut. I can't wait for you to rip off the band aid and share your peptide story with us. Take it away.
Okay. I was actually introduced to the copper peptide a couple years ago in a different form. I seen some great results, so I kind of had peptides, a little bit of knowledge. But when Tanya had suggested the Ellie, it really sparked my interest because I was one of those, I could lose 10 pounds and then it would stop. I would do strict keto. I tried counting calories. I would fast for 72 hours. Nothing. So I started, I think in June or July. And for about 6 weeks, I didn't see anything happen. So I was like, oh, here we go again. My clothes were starting to feel a little bit. Maybe I didn't feel it's quite so inflamed. And then I hit 6 weeks, and I don't know, it's like the light switch went on and things just started melting away. Um, I still did pretty low carb. I have some sensitivities to gluten stuff, so low carb really works well with me. Of course, I was doing that before, nothing was moving. And I can say I've lost 40 pounds. And probably from 6 weeks to early January, I lost 40 pounds. I sleep amazing. I think now listening to her talk about whoever had ADHD, I am usually bouncing off the walls and I use other natural things, but I haven't been using them. So I didn't really even notice, but I am more focused and more without using things. And I take the, what do I take? The GLP, GIP with B. I have, I don't know if I should use his name or not, but I have a guy that's just finished his second month, and I do believe he is about 20 pounds down.
That is amazing. I love it. Susan has got a great story, and she's one of those people that, you know, is willing to share whatever it is in her knowledge. And that's kind of how this business in particular starts with for most people, is because it's pretty obvious when you're having success. It's pretty obvious. And women, men, it doesn't matter. Everybody talks about their weight, whether it's they're ever widening or they're shrinking, right? So that has been great. The business, we're going to talk about that for just a little bit, ladies. The business has been something that was kind of unexpected for me. When peptides first got on my radar, it was mostly men, honestly, that came into my store saying, "Hey, I listened to Joe Rogan. Do you have BPC 157?" And I was like, "No, I have no idea what that is." And then I had some clients coming around asking, "What do you have for weight loss?" And I would say, "Well, we just do it the hard way around here. I just have like these different supplements or this." And the GLP ones weren't on my radar because I'm an RN. They are not in my scope of practice. I had no idea that there was these telehealth companies and this and that out there that offered these things. So I was approached just randomly on a cold message on Facebook about peptides. And I could tell she was pitching me. I could tell there was some marketing there. And I'm like, well, count me in. I don't care what the rest of the story is. I know my audience is looking for this. I know that this market is going to explode, and I'm going to be part of it, whether I am a consumer of it or whether I just need to fill in the gap so the people that I serve don't go into that gray market, don't go into those places that we don't trust. And there's a reason that there is some shady things that go on in this space. So I'm gonna let Brenda talk a little bit more about Ellie's quality and why she's willing to stick her neck out as a professional. And then Melody, you just jump in if there's anything you have to add to that.
Sure. Yeah, so for me, it really was. I had been looking around, and that it was like none of them were like I mean, they weren't monitored. They weren't monitored by medical providers. I had no idea what I should take, what my dose should be, if I should take it or not. Since I have MS and I'm on an immunosuppressant medication, I didn't know all of those things about myself and my own health and what I should do around it, even though I was really wanting to look at getting into something. So I checked out a bunch of different places and different companies. And in fact, one actually said, this was after. So I had looked at getting on. Well, when I went on the tesamorelin, ipamorelin, the doctor at LEMD said, well, because you're on an immunosuppressant, because we have to put in our medical history. Of course, I'm going to be honest about that. And before I can prescribe this, I need you to talk to your neurologist about this to make sure that he or she feels that you can go on it because of the medication you're on and because of your MS. And so I met with my neurologist. I'd already given him a bunch of information on it, done the research for him actually. And he looked over it and he said, yeah. And so he wrote it out. Right after that, another company, I'm not going to say their name, of course, but I went onto their site that said they were medically monitoring it. And they didn't ask me anything about it. They were just going to ship it off to me. So that really shows me again the difference between a company that is just slinging something to make money or a company that really is about helping people get healthy and really looking out for our health. And that's what really sold me on Ellie, was that medical oversight, and that it's, from 503(c)(a) pharmacies. So we know that it's pure and that all of those things are in place. And so those are the things. And I love also with Ellie that you can now, we added in, I don't remember when they did it, but that you can, if you're not sure exactly what you want to do too, you can do a consult with one of our docs ahead of time to say, this is my condition. So I have several people right now that are going to be having them this week and next week, consults with our doc, one of our docs at LEMD, to say, these are my conditions, these are my medications I'm on, this is my medical history, this is what I'm wanting to achieve, so that he can provide, medical oversight and recommendations for these individuals. Because again, I am not a medical doctor that prescribes, and I am not a medical doctor that knows everything about peptides. I'm a neuropsychologist, right? And so I'm not going to tell people what they should do when they, that's just outside of my wheelhouse, and that would be unethical for me to do. So that's really what I love about Ellie.
Do you have anything to add, Melody?
I pretty much agree. Actually, I didn't know that they would do consults to help people pick a peptide.
That's kind of new. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that was available, but that's awesome, because sometimes I'm like, well, there's about 6 that would be helpful for you, but yeah. So I may use that. But again, the fact that it's coming from a licensed, regulated, high quality pharmacy is why I'm willing to stick my hat in that ring. Like I see the membership ones that pop up on ads on TV once in a while, and I haven't looked into those because I'm just not interested. And I know I get emails from pharmacies. They have peptides, and they may or may not be pharmacies I'm aware of. I started actually prescribing some GLP-1s for people, and it was okay. And then that whole FDA thing, and you can't compound that whole it just got really complicated and convoluted, and I wasn't sure the exact dosage that I wanted to give the patient. I was going super tiny and wasn't getting really great results. So using high quality stuff, because that, I'm a big believer in using high quality stuff. I don't like Costco supplements by and large. I don't want you to go buy the crappy stuff just because you can get, lifetime supply of vitamin C for $20 doesn't mean it's actually good stuff.
Doesn't mean you should. That's right.
So if you're gonna inject something into you, it should be high quality. You should know it's coming from somewhere that's appropriate and safe and clean and licensed, because
Agreed. And you know what else I love about our company? So one thing, Melody, just so you know, where you find that doctor consultation It's on the homepage, and you have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and then you'll find it. There's a button there that you can have your customer or your patient, whatever term you use, can
Yeah.
get that. And it's just extra assurance for them. Like you said, there's so many choices. So where does one start, right?
Yeah.
What else I love about LEMD is that referral option. So, like, each one of us is kind of using the company and the income that it can potentially generate for different purposes, right? And I love that there's an affiliate side, so a customer or anyone can get a discount per se, or you can go further. You can make it your business. You can do vendor shows if you want. It's your business. You can run it, you can build a team, you can do however you choose. So I love that. And multi-level marketing, some people have a really bad taste in their mouth about it, but this is success for me. This has helped my business in a time when things were slow. It's been a challenge, and it's been super rewarding. What I love about word of mouth advertising is that this is my example that I use all the time. Like on the Super Bowl, Ozempic had commercials, and they paid whoever you pay to get on the Super Bowl commercial $30,000. No, millions. Sorry. It was like $30 million for 30 seconds of airtime. And our company, that is not even quite 2 years old, paid people just like the four of us $30 million to be their advertising. So I love that, right? I love that. I love this shared space. We all talk about health, and when we pair health and helping others and then pair it with wealth, like there is, I don't know, I'm just so energized about the good things to come for the people that I run into, for the people that I can help, that I can serve. And the other cool thing is, in an economy where everything else is going up, our peptides, the GLP-1s and the GIP, the combo, came down in price. Like they didn't come down in quality. They didn't even come down like on our commission scale, but they came down in price to the general public. And that is because of the success of the company, of the volume. So instead of the corporate end of it just pocketing that, they brought it over to the consumer side. They brought it over to bless us as affiliates. And if you ask me, that's a big deal. All right. Well, if you ladies don't have anything else to add, I want to make sure that you all share your either your affiliate link, or let people know what social media platform they can find you, and reach out. If you're here on the replay, whose ever page you're seeing this on, we are absolutely all a team. If you've got health concerns that you need to go deeper on, Dr. Melody Keller is accepting new patients, and she will treat you right. She specializes in rheumatoid arthritis, as well as other complicated autoimmune diseases. So if you're not getting help somewhere else, or if you're not feeling like you're getting individualized attention and you need help, you need a different perspective from a more holistic and natural standpoint, first and foremost, reach out to Dr. Keller. She can help you out. Brenda, go ahead and give yourself a little pitch. Are you taking new clients, or do you work for like an overhead?
So I work at JLB for a company with my neuropsych, but I do travel to Glendive, Montana, maybe once a month or so to do some neuropsych evaluations over there.
From
Just to help out
Minnesota?
Can.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
fun.
I miss my Montana people, and they
Wow.
didn't replace me, and there's no one else doing them, and I feel really bad. And I
Wow.
love doing what I do, so I do that. Plus, I'm an online coach and all that kind of stuff too, so health and wellness and stuff. And so, yeah, they can reach out to me. Just you can find me at Brenda Roach, on Facebook, Dr. Brenda Roach on Instagram.
And LinkedIn, you've got a nice LinkedIn
Yep,
profile.
LinkedIn as well. So pretty easy to find me. I'm pretty open and it's all public. So there it is.
Awesome. Awesome. How about you, Susan? Where can people find you?
Probably on Facebook
Okay. All
under
right.
Susan Ferguson.
I'm kind of a Facebook girl myself. We will be back. You can join our Facebook group. It's called GLP-1 Roundtable. You do have to give us your email address to get in. It is open to anyone, but because of all the internet censorship and all that good stuff, I am preparing for when the group disappears. So if and when the group disappears, I will be sending out an email and let you know what the backup plan is. So thanks so much, ladies, in joining in this conversation. Thank you for being open and willing to tell your stories. You never know when your story is going to touch the heart of somebody else and inspire their healing journey. Good night.
Thanks.
Good night. Good to see you.